Good Monday morning, everyone. Happy November. Man, this year is flying by, especially for me. But you guys are listening to Author Talk with me, Amy Russell, and Valerie Sweden. And it is just us today talking about all the things coming up for holiday promotions for authors and publishers and all of that. Thanksgiving. But we always start with our weekend. So let's just dive into my weekend, shall we? Because it's generally adventurous. So my youngest, who is 3, slammed her thumb in the car door. The door was completely shut and fractured her thumb. So we have an I believe it's an orthopedic appointment against this. Is the second broken bone this year in my household with my children. So it's an
different child.
Yeah.
Yes.
Different child. So
I can't imagine how you freaked out.
Oh, I would have been.
No, actually, on the contrary, Josh freaked out.
Yeah, it's his precious baby.
Yeah, so he's the one that noticed it because he saw her close the door. I was getting the bikes out of the trunk of the car because we were at the neighborhood park, and he saw it, and then she lost it, and then all this blood kind of came, and that makes me woozy a little bit. So then we just got right back in the car and went back home, and he tried to ice it, and she wouldn't let him do it, and she was squeezing, and it just turned, like, the bottom of it turned a really, like, just color. It was just a color, and I was like, this is broke. She can't move it. We have to go.
Yeah, get to the hospital before it falls off.
Well, no. So Josh was like, well, let's just see. I'm like, she's not going to let us ice it. Like, if anything, I'll pay for a peace of mind. So we went, and then we have an appointment today. Her splint doesn't stay on her thumb because she's so little, right? So it doesn't stay on her thumb. So we're hopefully going to get something a little bit different today. But she's in some pretty good pain.
Yeah. Is it just this part, or is like the whole that?
No, it's her top part of her
thumb. The top part. Okay.
Still, Russell, you're muted. You're muted. I didn't hear you.
Can I tell you a short story before you go on with this awful story? So we had to go see the orthopedic so many times that between all my kids, one time we were in the orthopedics, and the wife of the orthopedic came in, and she had dangling from her keys a BMW keychain. Mm-hmm. And I said, "You're welcome." And she's a real nice lady. She stopped because she saw us all the time. She said, "Welcome for what?" I said, "I'm here to make your monthly car payment."
So true. So true.
Oh man, I'm telling you.
That's what you're doing. You're making car payments for
That's my future. That's my future. So my daughters are also in gymnastics, right? Mm-hmm. And they go Wednesday evening, Thursday morning. And their Thursday morning, they do some adventurous stuff. Okay, mm-hmm. I'm not going to lie. Because Friday, they have the little kid rings, hanging from the little kid uneven bars. You're not really doing anything. Thursday morning, they're hanging from the ones hanging from the ceiling, swinging. I mean, they're really getting it. And I'm just like, oh, I see like torn shoulders, much more broken bones in my future because that's what they love the most. So I'm slowly adapting. But Josh had a bit of a hard time yesterday with just the blood and everything. So I was like, well, one parent has to be calm. But, it's adventurous to say the least. It was an adventurous weekend. Mm-hmm. For sure. But what did everybody else do? You can obviously hear my kids at the vent. So what did everybody else do this weekend?
Well, I was participating in a market for all weekend just to try to promote the books. And it was really cool because people they really want to meet you as an author. And so I really encourage anybody, this is a great way to network with your audience and just interact with like whatever genre you're in. It was just, people really want to know like the process and what were you inspired by and how did it come about? And by the way, how long did it take to get this book? And you're like, a while.
You don't really want to know. You want me to say like 2 months, but it was like 2 years.
A really long time. But it's good to share and just be out there among people who are interested in what you're doing. And I think that is so motivating. And then last week I went actually and did a school presentation, And this like really lifted my heart. One of the kids was walking out. They go, "So when's your next book? I can't wait to see it." I was like, "Oh my gosh, I love you."
Oh, I love it.
So that is a great feeling. Authors, the more you can get out and be among your people, that is just so inspirational.
We will debate that, Valerie.
Okay, maybe it's just our audience.
Russell's not a people person.
Well,
you won't catch him at a market.
I'm not a market person. So and Fern and I used to always argue about this, and I'm glad to see I have someone else new to fight with about it.
Yes. But I just, it's just around the holidays, people really want to give something special. And I think that is such a cool thing to do, because when you're sharing like, this is a cool story because, and then they're just excited to meet the author. And I'm like, I'm excited. I'm more excited to meet you. So
yeah. Well, Valerie, when you go though, I mean, you have the whole like setup. So, I mean, one, you're a children's author, right? Mm-hmm. But you have things on the table to entice the kids to come to your table and interact and touch. I mean, hell, Valerie, when I saw your table, and I'm not a child by any means, I wanted to go and play at your table.
Plus, Valerie is a nice person.
She's a lovely person. But her table is just so fun. And I think like when you go to markets, especially as a children's author, you have to kind of have things to entice children to come to your table, because your children are what's going to sell your book to the parents.
And then the things that are book centric, like I was at Copperfield Books doing it was an author festival, and then everybody has something special to offer, no matter what their genre. If they have like a giant dragon on their table, or they have even candy, but just anything prop wise that tells the audience what your books are about. Even if you have like some skull and crossbones kind of thing, you're dressed like a pirate, whatever it is, you got to get people engaged to want to talk to you and know your story, and then know what you wrote about and the whole process. So that's the fun part. I really enjoy it.
So you had a fun, eventful, successful weekend. Yeah. Russell, what did you do?
Well, there's a truck driving up the side of the mountain right now, so that's why I had to mute.
Oh, okay.
So I have to tell a story before I get in. And by the way, this may be one of my last weekends I can be out in the forest for the show, because it's about to get really cold in Atlanta. And it'll stay cold for 6 months. So
that's scary.
We'll have to see. But when one of the times that my children broke his arm, he broke it, but my wife took it to the doctor, and they said, "Oh, he doesn't need an X-ray." Oh, so she came back and told me that, and he still had problems. Yeah, and this went on twice during the week, and finally, I told my wife, "Take him back to get an X-ray, and don't come home without an X-ray. Don't do it." Yeah. So when she went to the doctor and he said he doesn't need an X-ray, my wife explained to the doctor, "You don't understand. I can't go home without an X-ray." And they X-rayed it, and he did have it wasn't completely broken, but it was fractured. Okay? Yeah. So he's wearing a cast. Now this is a little boy. Yeah. For about a week or so, and the swelling went down. And one day he walked into his mother in the kitchen and said, "Look, Mom," and he pulled the cast off. She almost fainted right there.
Oh my gosh, I'm telling you.
That's what's in your future.
Exactly. Well, at least she has girls, Russell, because my boys too, they were bad. And we also
boys are bad.
We had an orthopedic doctor on call. Dr. Guggenheim, bless him. He was like, he saw all the kids, and he's like, "Wow, you're back again." I was like, well,
we have kids, we have boys.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. But when you're in the orthopedic doctor's office, Russell, and you see like people, and you're like, okay, we have this little thing, but it could be worse. It could be worse. Like my daughter actually broke both bones in her arm running. Yes. And at a birthday party. Yeah. And so we had to have surgery. And when we went to the ER, he's like, "I think you're gonna have to have surgery." I was like, "I'm gonna wait on a second opinion." And of course we went back to our trusted orthopedic doctor, and he's like, "You're gonna need surgery." But so just stuff happens. That's it. It's like
I'm about to pass out. This is making me dizzy. I got to change the subject. So I went to Houston for the weekend. We were summoned by my daughter, and my wacko pickleball wife. Actually, we were playing pickleball with my daughter, her husband, and the girls, and she was teaching her granddaughter to play pickleball.
I love it.
She's total wacko about pickleball now.
No, she's just passionate about it and sharing it with her.
Is it hard to play? Russell, do you play?
No, it's not hard to play. Yes, I play. I'm broken into pieces. I have a tennis elbow now and a sprained wrist.
Oh, I love it. Wait, I have
twisted
the
left ankle. I can run marathons and not get hurt. I can't play stupid pickleball.
See, there's your pickleball with your granddaughter.
Right. It was spectacular.
Oh, I love it.
So when we went back to the hotel after that, I got hit by a car.
What? For real?
Yeah,
oh my gosh, are you okay? Did you have to go to the hospital? Do you have broken bones? It could be a broken bone segment.
No, I just bounced off of it. I didn't even get hurt. In fact, as I was going down, I was thinking, I hope they didn't dent the car.
Yes. Yeah, because you're such a beast, you dent the car.
That's but I wasn't hurt. The lady was freaking out and it was probably my fault. Just wasn't paying attention. It's my fault.
No, drivers have to be defensive.
Wait, you were walking and they hit you?
Yeah.
Oh my
God. Drivers are supposed to be defensive.
I know. So. As the lawyer in me, I know that. but I can tell you, my wife told me it was my fault.
Yeah.
Because she saw it and she was freaking out.
Yeah.
Only a wife can tell you when it's your fault. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No one else, only your wife.
She was glad to tell me really quick.
Well, I'm so glad you're okay. Jeez, that's crazy.
I know. And you walked away unscathed. You didn't have anything wrong.
Well, it's a good thing we know orthopedic doctors just in case. It's our backup here.
I know. So I got another story to tell you about Japan.
Okay. I'm all ears as long as it doesn't involve food moving.
Okay. That was a great story last week. This is a weird story. Number one, the whole time I was there, I never saw a bookstore. Really? And I think it was me not knowing what Japanese bookstores look like. Okay. I don't think it was not having bookstores because in Tokyo, let me tell you, everyone dresses, it's like a fashion show everywhere in Tokyo. Everyone dresses up the way they did in the United States in the 50s. Everyone's during the day, during the night. It's not just a thing from coming off work. We actually hired a nighttime guide to take us out on the nightlife because, you know, at 66 years old, I'm clueless. There's no way I'm going to know about nightlife, right? So we hired a guide that actually took us down those alleys where those little bars are that are only big enough for 7 people.
Oh, yeah, I remember you telling me. Oh, I love it. Okay, I'm glad you're telling me the story. I wanted to hear how this went.
And now, in the subway, and I got to tell you, there is a whole city. I didn't even know this till I was there. In Tokyo, there's a city under the city.
Okay.
And it's not just a tunnel system like in Houston or a subway system like in New York. It is a whole city that you walk around in that's like 2 stories high. The ceiling's not real low. It's actually 2 or 3 stories high. You have these beautiful subways as part of it, but you have stores and restaurants and ambiance and everyone's walking around and you don't even know if it's raining or not because one of the days that we hung out in the Undercity, it was raining all day, but you have these breaks where you're out, where they have the outdoors reaching down into the city, but you can walk around it. And so it's it's stellar clean. It's like you'd see in a sci-fi movie. And everyone's dressed to the hilt and it's clean, like I said. And that's a big part of it. But everyone on the subways, when you're on a subway, or a bullet train, by the way. And I got to tell you, we rode bullet trains while we were there, and it was a surreal experience.
Yeah,
watching those bullet trains, because all my life I've wanted to ride the bullet trains of Japan, and it is really everything you could think it would be. It's just spectacular. But no one speaks the whole time. It's silent. But when you go to those little bars down those alleys during the nightlife, all of a sudden, everyone in the bar is screaming and yelling and talking loud and meeting people and drinking. It is like two different worlds.
That's crazy. That sounds so cool, though.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a fashion thing in Japan that there isn't anywhere else. And it took me a while to figure out what the heck was going on. Maybe 1 in 5, 1 in 10 young women out on the town had red mascara and red eyelining above and below their eyes. And I thought this was so weird, because I was like, why is heroin chic a part of Japanese fashion? Right?
That's cool. Okay.
I mean, I didn't think it was cool. I thought it was weird.
Red's my favorite color, so I'm down with anything red.
All right, Amy, you have a new trend to follow.
Well, I couldn't figure out, and I couldn't get anyone that spoke English explain to me what was going on with that.
Yeah.
Because they just kind of looked at me like, what's your problem?
Yeah, I feel like they're very fashion forward in general. Just, even like, I know even when I was in high school, I was able to, when we went to California for something, I was like, then you didn't see it back in Texas for like months and months later even. So Japan, it's just even more.
And you're right about Japan. It's like the cutting edge of men's fashion, because it's men in Japan dress up more than they do anywhere else in the world. I thought Europeans were the dressers, but not like in Japan. Anyway, but another part of this fashion, though I didn't know at the time, is there's this, if you watch YouTube videos of what's going on in Tokyo right now or something, I have another truck stopping up the mountain, is women, you will see, hang on a second, let the truck go by. You will see young women dressed up in traditional kimonos and with their hair. And you just see them out on the town. And it's not every woman. It's like 1 in 5, 1 in 7 of these young women. Now, I'm not talking down these bar alleys. That's a whole different type of dress that these people do to let loose. Right? But I'm talking like out shopping for the evening or and we're talking about young women in between the ages of like 17, 18, and 30.
Yeah.
And it was a thing in these and then we came across stores where you could rent multi-$1,000 kimonos for the weekend. And they would do your hair. So this was a thing that young women were going in there. And about every 4th or 5th of these young women had also had the young man that they were with had rented a kimono too, and was all dressed up in traditional. And it's a thing there to rent expensive kimonos if you're a young person and spend the weekend in traditional dress.
And where are they going dressed up?
Just shopping, out to eat, doing everything they would otherwise. This is just how they dress up for the weekend.
Yeah, that's
and even there at some of the nighttime streets that we were taken down by our nighttime guide, some of the young women and young men were dressed up. You never saw young men by themselves dressed up. It was always the ones attached to a young woman that was dressed up. Dressed up like this.
Do you think this is a new fad, or?
I don't know, because before I got over there, I would ask, why are some people dressed up like this and other people aren't? And no one would explain it to me, like I was stupid. But I think this is a part of Japanese culture that is separate from other people's culture. And as I started reading the memoirs of a geisha,
I love that book.
Because we were in the Guion district where that book and the movie was written. In fact, I even posted a picture standing on the bridge that is a part of that book in the movie.
Yes.
I understood that the mascara and the eyelining that geishas used traditionally for hundreds of years was red above and below their eyes. And that's why the young women have borrowed that in Japan. Not everyone, like I said, borrow that and use that. That's a geisha thing. That's a part of their culture, and they use.
So I feel like it's like a retro moment. Just like, you know, like bell bottoms come back and all these things come back to you, you know, you even, you know,
I think it's an integrated part of their culture.
Well, that's very cool.
That's
like
separate than all other Western and modern cultures.
That's
it's like a tradition. They've just modernized the tradition.
Yeah,
there you
but
go.
It's a tradition. Yeah.
It was a very cool thing. It was one of the investigative, I guess, you know, as authors, you know, we're people watchers. We want to know stuff. We want to understand the little stuff like that. So that was one of the things that I was learning while I was in Japan.
Well, how long did you see the part from the book and the movie because I love that book.
Well, and I'm in the middle of it. I'm like on chapter 20 right now. And yes, the bridge is much more romantic and charming than it's described in the book. It really is. And it's right there on the edge of the Guion district. And I got to tell you, I did not, as a Westerner, understand geisha traditional culture till I started walking down the Guion district where the geishas tea houses are traditionally. And they're as narrow as the streets are as narrow as a closet door. They're that narrow.
Wow.
And outside these tea houses, and we went to some of the most prominent tea houses in Tokyo. We didn't go inside. We weren't invited, but walked down these alleys. And they have little, in Japanese wording, the name of the tea house. And then they have a little wooden sign in Japanese for each geisha or novice that lived there.
Really?
So you would know who was living there. And then they would have a badge of honor about the honor of the tea house, all in Japanese only. And I was like, okay, this is not what I thought it was. It was really interesting.
That sounds very cool, though. Just to experience all of that, you know, in person, and to see, you know, how everything is built on that story too.
Yeah. And I don't think I understand, you know, the way I describe it is, as Westerners, we understand Japanese culture, but it's different than what we understand sideways. It's different in their own way.
Well, I think traditions hold really heavy with them.
Yes.
And, you know, like modernize them, but traditions and how things were and kind of still are, I think, is what really is important. But I'm dying to know, do they really have the phone sanitizers there? Because I would love that. You know, like the little station, you just drop your phone, it sanitizes it.
What?
Yes, but I got to tell you, they have no trash cans.
Oh.
You are expected to carry your trash home.
Really?
And you do not put your trash in anyone else's trash can or anything. You're expected, whatever you have as trash, you're expected to carry it home and dispose of it there. And we actually carried little bags for our trash that we had to carry and take back to the hotel before we would dispose of it. That's a thing.
Wow.
And it's pretty aggressive, obvious part of the culture. You do not do that. And I got to tell you, the public bathrooms are 10 times more modern and nicer than any private bathroom in the United States.
They're better than a Buc-ee's? I mean, the Buc-ee's is probably the nicest thing that we have.
Buc-ee's is
for being
nothing.
honest.
I got to tell you, when in the public, private bathrooms are just off the scale. They're 22nd century stuff that we have no concept of. But even the public ones, it's like going into a computer room because you have all these buttons that you pick about what you want.
Interesting.
And they even have buttons to have grounding sound so nobody around can hear whatever you're doing.
Oh, now that is cool. I'm not going to lie. That's super cool.
That's very cool.
I get overwhelmed with buttons and then I want to play with all the buttons. So then I would be in there a really long time playing with
buttons.
This
is really bad. This is a bad story. I am going to tell anyway. The heaters on these bathrooms in the hotels, my wife had those heaters so hot they were hard to sit on.
Oh.
And she kept them that way. It was crazy.
I mean, I don't know. I like to sit on something warm, but I don't like to burn myself. You know.
No,
I'm just saying. Okay. I'm just saying.
Okay.
It was.
You'd be sitting and jumping up, right?
Maybe it's
3 o'clock in the morning. I got a surprise.
That way you're not staying on there too long. Okay.
That is true, Amy. Yeah, get off.
Let's move to the different subject.
What is the phraseology? Get off the pot.
There you go.
Okay, move on.
Russell, it's your time to shine and thank all of our listeners.
I do want to thank everyone listening to us on the podcast. I know this is a weird and different type of podcast today, and we appreciate you listening to us on the way home while you're at work. We very much appreciate it. We have been rated top 10 independent bookcast in America, and we very much appreciate it. Even I can find it now, and I'm stupid when it comes to finding particular podcasts. Amy, how can people find us?
So you can find us anywhere that you can listen to a podcast. Amazon Music, Spotify, Good Pods, Apple, Google, anywhere that you can listen to a podcast, you can hear us and my lovely dogs and children as of today. But to reiterate Russell's statement, we're just incredibly humbled by it. All of you that know and were with us from when we started know that it was Russell and Sandy, and it's kind of evolved into what it is and has become today, and what we're always making changes and improvements every year. So I'm excited to see what the new year brings for all of us and for AuthorTalk. So we're just incredibly humble and grateful for it.
But before we get to the new year, Amy, we have all kind of things planned for the holidays.
No, I know. So you guys, it's November. And when I think of November, I think of Thanksgiving, gearing up for holiday promotions for writers, publishers, all of those things, right? So obvious ones are Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, Cyber Monday, Giving Tuesday, right? And if you haven't set up your promotions for those, well, you may be out of luck.
It's too late.
Yeah, you probably should have done that in September.
Amy, I got to tell you, when Sandy was among us, and hello, Sandy, I know you're watching now, she would go on for months about her plans for Black Friday, and she was all into, I don't know what Saturday is. Valerie was talking about it earlier. Then seemed like every year they added the next Monday was something, the next Tuesday was something. And she tried to take advantage of all of it to promote her author. So we know you can do it.
It's technically 4 days, right? So you have Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, which every author is a small business because you are your own authorpreneur, right? To market and sell your books. Cyber Monday, which is an obvious if you're on Amazon running promotions or just online in general. Giving Tuesday is where a lot of people will donate a part of their sales from that day.
Yeah, I don't get the whole Giving Tuesday. I don't get that.
Everybody but Russell, right? They give to a charity or an organization or a nonprofit to kind of support them. So it's on a Giving Tuesday. Those are the 4 big promotional holidays. And
I think, Amy, we started all this stuff, but when Sandy was doing all this was before all the hashtag stuff took off. And you can hashtag the heck out of all your promotions and just get any audience you wanted.
Oh, I know. It was fun. But if you haven't booked your promotions through Written Word Media or any other one, the Fussy Librarian, Gorilla Books, whichever promotional.
What is the Fussy Librarian? What is that?
It's the same. So if you're familiar with Bargain Booksy and Free Booksy, they are owned by Written Word Media, right? So I have like a membership to it, but it's just another promotional organization that you can use, which is the Fussy Librarian. There's K-Book Promotions, Gorilla books or Gorilla ebooks, one of those that you can use. And it's just another way to promo stack your book, right? If you haven't already done those and you're running a special for those days of the week, you're kind of shit out of luck, to be completely frank and honest.
So where do you find those? If you're an author, you have your first book, right?
Yeah.
You say it came out in September and you're like, oh, if this is a thing, I would like to do that. Where would they find those companies?
Honestly, if you want my God's honest truth, if you go to Google and you type in book promotional sites, it will come up with several lists. There's a list just for romance authors. There's lists for historical fiction authors specifically. There's multi-genre lists, like Written Word Media has Free Booksy, Bargain Booksy, Romance e-readers, those ones. But for that, Google's going to be your best friend. Now, your price range is going to vary depending on how big the subscription list is and what kind of promotion you want to run. If you want to guarantee hit number one, that's going to cost you hundreds of dollars. I'm not going to lie. That's going to cost you about $800 with one promotion. Now you can leverage multiple promotional sites. Written Word Media, use a Free Booksy or a Bargain Booksy if it's 99 cents to $5.99, right? Or $4.99. With the Fussy Librarian and the Gorilla Book readers and maybe some Amazon ads, and you can achieve the same thing depending on how strategic you are. But you want to leverage as many of you as you can. Now, if you only want to use one and get it and you're like, I don't want to worry about anything, I want reviews, all that's going to cost you $800. I'll be honest. So.
Now, let me argue the point. And this is not anti you, but actually kind of pro is.
Okay.
I'm a big believer in these promotions and making events. And I think that was the one reason why, because we used all those, and we used some kind of email list when my book came out, and it wound up selling 10,000 books. I mean, it just caught hold, and it was because I leveraged, as you used the term, both the email list. There were like 2 or 3 email lists that really took off on it, and the whole time I was on Amazon paying so if a book buyer came on and bought a book that was similar to mine, there would be a pop-up saying, hey, this is a book like what you just bought. Why don't you look at it? And I had charts of those, and I went over them with Sandy like every 3 days, rotating messages.
I remember that.
And it's serious. It's serious work, and it's not just $800. It's not just money. You've got to spend time, and you've got to educate yourself.
It's incredibly difficult because on top of that, you're also getting reviews, which every author wants reviews, right? If you're listening, you're not an author, but you're a reader, the greatest compliment you can give any author is a review, good or bad, because it makes them stronger writers for their next book, or if they want to do a second edition and make those changes, right? But when it comes to promoting your book and trying to get number one, especially now because Amazon has changed their algorithm, they depend really heavily on their AI and everything, right? And category selections and all
I'm
that.
so shocked.
Harder. Yeah. I know. So category selections and all of that are becoming much more difficult for authors, right? Which makes sense because you have ChatGPT and the powerful capabilities in which it can do. And so publishing a book has become easier, or writing a book in that sense has become easier. So they have to kind of weed out certain expectations, I guess, of it. So all those things make sense, but it makes it much more difficult and challenging because they put you in bigger categories instead of letting you narrow it down. So to get that number one status and the bestseller and all of that is challenging, but that's when leveraging these different sites and stacking them up together on the same day or over a course of 3 days is really what's beneficial, right? When you have the holiday season approaching, like all of us know is approaching here in the States, it is heavily populated and very saturated when it comes to running ads and doing those kinds of things. So any other way that you can promote your book, right? Like Jingle Bells that Book Fest is hosting and Black Chateau is putting on for one day, December 2nd. And they have authors that'll be offering holiday promotions and doing readings. The 12 Days of Page Turners is doing it the first 12 days of December. We have over 50 authors this year, multi-genres, everything from children's authors, historical fiction, to nonfiction, inspirational, everything under the sun that you can think of is the authors that we're going to have this year. And they're all offering holiday promotions. And it's our way, Abundantly Social's way. And it started with Sandy giving back to authors. So it's a completely free event. Come and check out all these books, holiday promotions. A lot of them have more than one running. So getting involved in holiday promotions like this, if you are an author, is going to be very beneficial. It doesn't cost you anything, the visibility that you get, and you may or may not make sales. That's the risk that you're willing to take. But it beats having to pay $800 and praying that you get number one, right? Any last minute sales that you can get this holiday season to close out the year, I feel like are really important, especially when you have the cost of everything going up. The cost of paper has gone up, productions and book costs have gone up, and authors are the ones that take the hit for that, right? So with all those things going on, as many groups and organizations or festivals, online or not, that you can get into this holiday season are going to be important. I know that there is one that's going to be running for sci-fi and fantasy authors. I'm not sure of the date of that one yet, but that one is exclusive just for those genres. So if you like those genres or you write in those genres, there is a holiday promotion that will be coming for you. But the more that you can get involved in those or link up and do email exchanges with other authors or publishers, that'll blast you in their newsletters and those kinds of things. Collaborating is every self-published or small press author's best friend, in my opinion. I know.
Okay. Amy, how do they find your 12 days? How do they find which days that you have genres that they may be interested in?
Okay. So the 12 days is going to be, it's a live event, 7 p.m. Central, the first 11 days of December. The 12th is generally during the day. And it'll be live, and whoever author wants to come back and promote their book is welcome that day. And then we'll probably run the replay multiple times that day. But you can find it on my Facebook channel, AuthorTalks YouTube channel, my LinkedIn, and it will be shared in all of the author groups that I am a part of or have joined, on top of tagging each one of these authors in while it is live. So it's a lot of fun, difficult. It's a lot of fun to do. And we'll be engaging in comments. Their promotions, the links to them will be listed in the comment section, so you can buy as you're listening to them. Now, in terms of genre and whatnot and how that works, you get several genres every night. So we don't do it genre specific every night. You have multi-genres every single night. I try not to repeat the same genre more than once a night. I think one of them right now, because we've created the schedule and we know who is going to be on which night. I have one night that has 2 horror authors on it, but other than that, they are all different genres. I try to put multi-genre authors with ones that write in only specific genres that kind of complement, but some that are just like nonfiction and sci-fi, right? Completely two opposite realms. So that way, if whatever genre you like, you can tune in every night and you will find a book that is fit for you or someone in your family that you think would enjoy that book. So it's fun, it's exciting, and I always have a wacky personality. This year we are doing red and silver. Our colors. Last year we did ugly Christmas sweaters, and it was so much fun. This year is red and silver. So I will be in a red shirt every night, and keep in mind it is in Texas, but I am inside. Okay, so if I'm wearing a sleeveless shirt like I am now, I live in Texas. Okay, I'm not outside freezing. Keep that in mind. But it's going to be a really fun time. I have a lot of fun doing it. I meet some amazing authors.
It's always fun.
Just give good visibility, right? So it's a fun, good time.
Yes.
Yeah, one of these days, Russell's going to do it. One of these days.
Yes, you should.
I must say, if they won't, they can. If you're listening to this on the podcast and you think, well, I would like to actually watch those, they can join our Facebook page, AuthorTalk, and they can we'll be able to see those every night, right?
Yeah, no, you can for sure. So I'll share them into AuthorTalk. If you're also a follower of one of the authors that's going to be on, then you will see it because I will tag them in it as well or stream it live to their page. So the whole point of the 12 days is to give them as much visibility as I can and visibility and reach that I have, right? So you will be able to see it anywhere. But if you want to go over to our YouTube channel or our Facebook page so you can see it live in time and see animated and facial expressions that I make and awkwardness that goes on, because if you go and watch previous years, there is awkwardness that goes on. So it is always a lot of fun to go and do that.
I believe in awkwardness.
Yeah, it keeps life lively.
I thrive in it. I thrive in it. If you can't have awkward silence and be able to break the awkward silence, I don't feel like you're successful in life, and I'm very good at that. So I thrive in that environment. But that's going to be a lot of fun. Jingle Books is December 2nd. That's going to be a live event on BookFest and Black Chateau's page as well. And they have their own authors that are part of that organization as well. So that's another one to keep your eyes out for. Also, all of you guys know that Greg was a dear and beloved co-host of our show and fill in every now and then. He had the con hour and everything like that. So his celebration of life is December 3rd. And I'm going to share the information about it. So if you want to come and celebrate, and if you do cosplay and you were a big Comic-Con goer and you knew Greg, I'm going to share it. So that way, if you want to come and celebrate his life and wear your cosplay like Greg loved, we would love to see you there on December 3rd. We have some exciting announcements coming up about the Comic-Con in which me and Greg were hosting. We're trying to get kind of everything under reins, I guess is the best way to say it. So it is still going to happen. We're going to put on the Comic-Con. We're just trying to figure some things out. So it's one of those things that I make sure that you check into that page in the con hour for updates on that section and about Greg.
You don't have anything to do you, Amy?
No, I'm a bored cookie. I'm bored.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah,
that's sure. Why she I feel like you've had a couple cups of coffee this morning, Amy.
No, I haven't. I am not. I can't have coffee anymore.
Right. You can't have coffee.
100%. This is Amy
How can you not have coffee?
Because there's stomach thing, right?
Yeah, but how do you do that? I don't understand.
I don't know.
How do you have a day without coffee?
It is very difficult. So for everyone that doesn't know, right, I have been going under evaluation for IC, which is interstitial cystitis, which is an issue with the line of my bladder. So I'm on an anti-inflammation diet. I can't have acidic things. I can't have chocolate, which sucks.
Oh my
God! Because I love chocolate, so I can't have chocolate. I can't have coffee. Now that doesn't mean that I don't do those things, but I am also lactose intolerant, so I have to have oat milk. So I saturate the hell out of it.
Welcome to my life.
Yes, me too. Me too.
Yeah, I have to have that in my lactase pills, right? But I oversaturate it with oat milk, which is how I can have it. But I can't have fake sugars. I can't have spaghetti anymore. So the holidays are going to be a lot of fun for me trying to figure out and working this whole thing. But I'm on this journey of going through the process of figuring all of that out. So yeah, it's an exciting one. But that's why I can't have coffee. I had to quit that cold turkey.
So you can do tea, fun. Right? You can do tea.
I can't do caffeine or carbonated drinks. So my most favorite drink, you guys, if you know me at all, is the Canada Dry ginger ale. I drink like 3 of those a day. I cannot have those. I can have like maybe one, and if it's flat kind of thing. But it's an exciting new journey and avenue in life that I'm currently going through. So that's why I can't have coffee. So my personality, 100%, I am like this all day, every day, like with or without coffee. So
it's probably better off without coffee, Val.
True. Yeah,
it's fun. But hey, Russell, I want to throw this out there before we end, because I know we're coming up on time, but I feel like you'd be proud of me. I have been doing ice baths with Josh. We built our own ice bath. Dunking station that we have in our refrigerator out of one of those like chest freezers, and I have gotten down to where I can be in there for 4.5 minutes at 38
Oh God, that's hard.
At 38 degrees, and I can dunk my head underwater when I have to wash my hair. I don't wash my hair.
Oh my God.
Right? So I've been doing that. It's a lot of it's a challenge, and it's mentally very difficult, but I have been doing it, so it's a lot of fun and challenging. But I thought if all people love that.
It's so shocking. Do you realize NFL football players have to do that all the time, every week? That's a thing.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how you do it.
Yes.
It's crazy, but it's, you know,
but
I have to have
why
a
are you
timer
doing
on
it,
it.
Amy? Why are
So
you doing it?
there's a lot of health benefits. So it helps with inflammation within your body, and it also helps you burn. I believe Josh told me it was like brown fat or something in your body from the shiver. So when your body shivers, it burns fat and all those things. So it helps with all that, but it just helps your immune system. It helps with inflammation, and all of those things, which is why I started doing it, because I have to do this anti-inflammation thing, right? Because I have a lot of inflammation
It's a whole
within my body.
Swedish thing going on there.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a lot of fun. It's challenging. I thought 50 degrees was challenging, but I could do that for about 11 minutes. And now we're going down to 37 degrees, and I'm in there. The most I can do is about 4.5 minutes. That's pretty
Wow.
freaking cold. And my toes have to be out, right? My toes can't be in the water because they go numb. They get cold. But it's fun and it's challenging. And I was like, if all people are going to appreciate this, it's Russell. So
Oh yeah,
yeah, that's so cool.
and I must say, Josh is someone I'm not surprised that knows about it and is interested. I mean,
yeah.
He's such a weirdo in a good way, right?
I know. And he's like, I'm going to build this myself. I was like, okay, I would have just saved up and bought one. So we built it, right? We did the whole fiberglass.
Because I didn't
everything.
think you two played well together.
No, I helped him. And when he was gone, I had to drain it because you have to clean the water, right? So we have a filter in it, but you have to clean it every month. You have to clean it. He was out of town. I drained the water and I cleaned it, and then I refilled it, bought all the damn ice to put in it.
I bet you reminded him of that when he got back.
I took a photo of it and sent it to him, and I was like, "Look what I did!"
Yeah.
No, it's definitely one of those things.
Yeah, bum.
Yeah. Oh exactly. But you guys, we hope that this has helped bring information for the holidays and how you can promote if you're an author, if you're a reader, how you can support authors this holiday season. Thanksgiving is upon us, then Christmas will be here before you know it, and then it's the beginning of a new year, right? So we're coming into the slide of the end of the year, and we like to do just the three of us to kick off each month. So we hope you guys all have a fantastic Monday, a great rest of the week, and until next week, everybody, bye for now.